Now recording.
Hello. Welcome to Now Recording. Listen, before we start, I wanted to talk about something real quick. The LioConvoy stuff has been the most successful content on our channel. The LioConvoy and Hopeless Peaches episode got about 15K. All our live streams, 2 of them got 11K, and then another one with no thumbnail got 7K. So it's been very successful, and we've gotten a lot of interaction from people that were in that community who are more or less not too fond of Leo, but were fans of Leo at one point, or fans of Hopeless Peaches at one point, who kind of come over here. And I think there's like some weird culture shock going on where you guys pop into the comments and being like, hey, I like your video, but I don't appreciate the transphobia, or I don't appreciate this whole thing with what you're saying here. I agree with some of your points, but you guys are being a little too mean. I got some comments right here. I don't know what level of commentary I had been expecting, but hearing multiple people have takes like kids shouldn't watch kids' cartoons has a brain-numbing amount below it. There's one that here says, some things are just none of your goddamn business. Someone you're scared of, or rather a family member of theirs, turns out to have a hiccup 6 years ago, and you pounce on them like a scared animal, LMAO. That title, by the way, is disgusting, and you're grotesque and horrific for it. Absolutely appalling. You deserve to be exposed for dumb shit you did when you were vulnerable with the same tone you used to in this video. And I say with the most anime protagonist energy I have in me, you're pathetic. There's one here that says, making offensive caricatures of people you don't like while using a bandwagon for attention isn't exactly a normal, well-adjusted thing to do. I'd wager you aren't much better than the people you bitch about. There's also one, didn't really like the casual transphobia at certain points, but still an interesting video. Guys, I wanted to appreciate the commentary, but really his transphobia remarks, were those necessary? Listen, I appreciate some of the new information I got out of this video, but really, did you really need a whole segment making fun of Patchwork's vid? It's add nothing to the commentary. Also, casual transphobia is chud behavior. Here's the thing. I do not dislike trans people, but at the same time, when you're a trans person, you're in this Discord, you're terminally online, your avatar is like this full-blown like furry cartoon character. You project this weird atmosphere where like you pretend to be to live in this cartoon world where you can befriend a lion and become their daughter, or these people are family, and all this ridiculous autism. I'm going to make fun of you. And if you don't appreciate the jokes, that's one thing. But at the same time, you have to understand that we're not the ACC. We're not the art community or anything of that nature. We are our own different entity with our own different lore, where we have different backgrounds. I come from a Tommy C background. Beavers comes from a Tommy C background. Toxic comes from like a baited Tommy C background. Core comes from a Tommy C background. And Mitch comes from a Tommy C background. We're a lot more edgier than the usual stuff you listen to. I'm not Harley TBS. I'm definitely not Omnia. I'm not going to baby you. I'm not going to apologize for hurting your feelings. I'm not going to apologize for words being said on a podcast. If you do not like this, you can just go away and you can go to Leia something. We're all for the jokes. We're here to be funny, and that's it. So again, if you hate what we're saying because you don't like the words that we're saying, this podcast isn't for you. So I recommend just lurk and listen, and don't get so mad at what we say, because we don't care what your opinion is unless it's actual constructive criticism. So that being said, I do want to point out that when it comes to LioConvoy, I think this is going to be the last piece of content we make on the guy, because although it's been some of the most successful podcast episodes on our channel with a lot of numbers, most of my co-hosts are not interested in it. Beavers isn't interested. Core doesn't know what's going on. Mitch, I don't think Mitch knows. I don't think Mitch even knows who LioConvoy is. Toxic couldn't keep up, and it's too convoluted of a story to really try to attack. Now, we could just do live stream after live stream reacting to 3-hour videos or 4-hour videos of the continuous content that keeps coming out, and we can milk it for as much as it's worth and collect donations and all that stuff and continue to do Senate calls and then continue to do all that. But I would not have fun doing it, because I feel like this subject is really, really worn me out trying to understand it, and I'd rather let the big boys, the Cecil McFlies, or someone like that make like a good in-depth video on it, rather than us try to tackle this subject even more. But what we are going to do is there has been a lot of updates since our last episode, so we're going to talk about that. Hi, I'm Matt Pitt from Now Recording, and with me today I have Beckett of Krabs.
What's up? How you doing, buddy?
What's up? I also have with me today someone who was here on the previous episode when we covered LioConvoy and Hopeless Peaches. I have Hellbent.
Hello. Nothing says we don't care about your opinion like a 10-minute rant about the comments.
Absolutely. And also with me today, we have Beavers.
Hello.
Who does not want to be here.
No. I literally went and took a shower.
So we are going to start from when LioConvoy made his response video. Now, his video is almost 4 hours long. I didn't watch a lot of it. I watched like a few bits. I think I tried to watch it. I went 2 times speed, and I got about 30 minutes in. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. But Beckett, you did live streams reacting to it. You did hours of content on that episode. Like, what's your thought process on his response?
Do you know, fuck. Like, you got a 10-minute rant. Fuck it. Do you know what my thought process on most of this shit is?
Go for it.
That, firstly, this stuff is objectively fucking retarded. I don't really know how else to put any of it. The responses that came out, the reason that I did like 3 streams going over all of it is because the tactic that was used was basically to drop 13 hours of content, not just Lio's first response video. There was Lio's video, which ran for about 4 hours, Doodle Tone's 2-part video, which ran for 5 hours. I didn't watch it. I couldn't. I literally couldn't get through it. And then Zach Not Kyle, who's like Lio's twink secretary, did like a 3 or 4 hour video. And that's because like it's really difficult to fucking penetrate that much content and work out what's being said. Lio's response video was fucking terrible. It was awful. It didn't really answer many questions. It essentially was focused around well, actually, okay, here's one of the interesting things with it. Firstly, like, I read on stream Lio's leaked script, which was the draft rant script, and you can see the pieces of his final response video in that script really clearly. Mm-hmm. Basically, the tactic's really simple. Hey, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm so sad, and I'm taking so much accountability. But also, at the same time, fuck everyone involved in this. And, like, Rose is evil, Jay and Jordan are evil, Kumo's evil, Gilded's evil, Leia's evil, and intermingled with, I don't know, either what you want to call vague threats, if you're being uncharitable, or just fucking coping. If you're not, it's really bizarre. The response was weird. So the reason, like, I ended up digging through it was obviously because it's sort of like what I've waited for to get over this sort of content kind of flow and storyline. But the truth was that Lio's video was just disappointing. It wasn't unexpected. There was nothing in there that we thought, oh, that's a surprise that you said that. And there were a couple of really disconnected points, a lot of cognitive dissonance, but yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Do you think the strategy was that make it long as possible, so like the people that are like orbiting that don't really care that much, they're gonna get like uninterested, so then you just have to deal with like the Akumos and the Kumos and the maybe you and a few others, and then you can just move on? Right.
I don't know if they're even okay. So I know that what was said behind the scenes roughly was, hey, you need to respond to everything that's being thrown at you, which is one of the reasons Lio did respond to everything that was being thrown at him. And then the kind of content bracket was split up into like kind of stages. So Lio would respond to his accusations that were made against him by Peaches, Jay and Jordan, blah, blah, blah. Doodle Tones was responding to the FCK stuff, which has meant that Akumu's kind of content has moved very specifically onto talking about Doodle Tones. You can see this on Twitter at the moment. And then Zach Not Kyle was talking about his experiences and the other mods' experiences of being part of the Peaches Burger King Lio plot server, which was frankly fucking hilarious. That was unironically the most entertaining video just because it was so insane. So
not to interrupt your train of thought, but I feel like we are committing the same sin that everybody that's been involved in this drama has, which is we're not really providing much context, so people might not really understand what we're talking about. But so I think real quick, where we left off in the last episode was which we recorded the day before the Senate Exodus, was that there were essentially allegations against Hopeless Peaches about partaking in the same behavior that they and Lio had gone after other people for. And Lio was actively shielding Peaches from harm. And then the next day, everything went to shit, and Peaches, alongside other mods, dropped statements, essentially throwing Lio under the bus. And Lio, essentially what we've been doing since then was we've been waiting for Lio's response, and it has now come, and he chose to address essentially everything, including some older allegations, even though, for example, Beckett on his streams advised him to just address Peaches. So hopefully that was helpful for somebody listening.
Well, if they're still confused, they can watch the 15 hours of content to get the context, because I don't care about the fucking context at this point. Go ahead, Beckett.
Well, this is the problem. Like, actually, kind of who does? Everyone's tired by the point that you've hit Lio's response. I said this before. I will say it again. I will say it ad nauseum. Lio's response video being to everyone doesn't help, because the people who were on Akumu and Kumu's side with Gilded and all the others, and even people like me, aren't going to necessarily believe Lio. So why make a response to that kind of crowd and that audience? On Lio's own side, many of those Zoomers already believe him. He can say whatever he wants about Akumu, Gilded, and everything else, but it doesn't change anything because they already fucking hate them. The only people it's sort of like persuading is people in the middle, and those people in the middle are persuaded to make more fucking content on you. That's it. You've just created a load of viewership for the people who fucking hate you. Lio's own arguments are that actually the Peaches allegations did a lot of damage to him within that crowd, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. So why isn't that the thing you're talking about? I don't really think Lio's apologized in a meaningful way. There are certainly other things there that he deflects from. Like, if you're apologizing for what you said to Rosa, I don't understand why you then go on a huge fucking tirade with a load of evidence over why it was necessary to do that with Rosa, because no one's disagreeing that Rosa could be a shit person or an autist or whatever. No one cares. They care that you sat in multiple calls for hours and hours and hours fucking screaming at her. It doesn't need more fucking context.
Speaking of not caring, I'm going to take this opportunity to dip from this episode because I really don't know anything and I could not give a shit. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Quitter, absolute quitter. But, getting ahead slightly, but I just wanted to make one point that in the conversation with Stardust, Lio said one thing that just sent me. He told her several times, oh, you haven't done your research, because she wouldn't know one tiny detail, knowing full well that this drama is impossible to comprehend completely. So he uses this as a defense from any criticism that nobody in their right mind would actually go through all of the hours of content.
Yeah. So, like, what was Lio's response to Peaches in general?
Lio's response to Peaches in general terms was that they emotionally abused and manipulated him, not the other way around, that he spent like $8,000 and that he really cared. He didn't understand why they've done this, that he didn't treat Peaches any differently to any of the other kids. I and everyone else disputed this because obviously he did. I'm not saying he didn't give any other favoritism to his adopted family, but he certainly gave Peaches more leeway than he gave anyone else, and that Peaches was lying, and that these were all the reasons. That's a basic response. Lio's not an abuser. Peaches manipulated people. Again, Peaches isn't actually here to dispute that because Peaches is fucked off.
Do you think Peaches will come back?
Yeah, of course. What else is Peaches gonna do?
Are they gonna change their name to like Mr. Orange or something? Hopeless. What's a male fruit? Like what sounds like manly? That's a fruit.
Pears, I guess.
Hopeless pear or
pear's manly.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Pear, yeah.
Yeah.
That works. But you're forgetting the most important detail, Beckett. That Lio has come out as possibly on the spectrum.
Oh, geez. I mean, like, who would have thought that? I mean, I honestly think he's the most level-headed, transparent, intelligent, intellectual person. There's no way he's autistic. There's no way he's on the spectrum. He is so he's so logical when he talks, and he seems to understand everyone's emotions and knows exactly what to say at the right time. No possible way he's on the spectrum at all. I highly doubt.
Surprising information. It's just curious to see him bring this up in this context, as if perhaps he was trying to excuse his behavior, one would think. But personally, I found Lio's response fascinating from the single standpoint that what Peaches had done with their statement, specifically the call that they released where they're just berating Lio and he's sitting there downtrodden and upset, is actually Peaches had generated a lot of unwarranted goodwill and sympathy for Lio. And it is amazing to see Lio completely squander that goodwill throughout his response.
Yeah.
Because he threatens to call the police on Gilded and his kid.
Well, okay, to be clear, for his exact words were, well, not exact, but paraphrasing, were, eventually Gilded's going to get himself getting a visit, basically. Though Lio does say, if he knew Kumo's name, then he would have said it in the video. And if he knew Gilded's name, he would have said it in the video.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's like, all right, Beavers is left, right? He's left, but
don't worry, I'll make the Nazi comments for now.
The irony, good one. The irony is Beavers is the one that brought LioConvoy to our attention back in early 2023. And we were listening to this guy threaten people. We were listening to this guy getting to calls with all these retarded people and getting their parents on the phone and all this fucking stupid shit. And I just I think I'm fast forwarding a bit here. I think Stardust got lost in the weeds during some of that debate because I think the main point is this guy thinks he's way too important than he actually is. When in reality, he's a guy who dresses up like a lion, probably smells weird, and talks about Thundercats. There's no rhyme or reason this guy should be taking these important cases of attacking pedophiles and going pedophile hunting when there's no way he could handle the responsibility of this, and it's been proven time and time again.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things of I've said this. It's like political streamers wanting to do political stuff, and they're like, "I want to help. I want to save democracy." And it's like, okay, do you really think you going up next to your chosen candidate, Vosh, and standing there and having people ask questions about fucking horses is going to help anyone? Maybe the way you can help is not doing anything. And I kind of feel this way about Lio. It's like, do you know, I had this conversation with another content creator, another person who's making a big video on them, because a couple of people have reached out and tried to talk to me about kind of the coverage and everything. And they were like, I don't want to hate Lio because it feels like Lio wants to do his heart's in the right place. And it's a very the road to hell is paved with good intentions kind of feel. There's so many elements where I'm just like, if you're the problem, motherfucker, why do you keep doing it? Lio himself has referenced back to having sort of an abusive home life with his own father. And it's like, okay, but let's say his father...
That's the world's tiniest violin.
Well, yeah, no, you forget what happened when he was walking down the street late at night with his mom and dad, and then some guy came out of the alleyway and shot his parents. And then he sought revenge at a later age when he fell into a cave and he was surrounded by lions, and that's how he became LioConvoy.
So he's like Batman but poor.
Yeah, Batman. Yeah, Batman, but really his butler. His butler's just his wife.
Okay, can we talk about one thing that Gilded brought up in his video? Because Gilded said, "Oh, I wasn't going to do anything." Gilded is another person who's just done. I don't care anymore. But Gilded in his video brought up Lio's wife and was like, "Wow, she looks a lot like Peaches in many ways. Isn't that interesting?"
Oh God.
Hey, Mitch.
Oh
Hey,
God.
massive gay lords.
Mitch, you have no idea what's going on.
Oh, good. Let him join.
Oh,
Let him be
it
here,
must be
please.
Friday.
Mitch,
Hey, hey.
who is LioConvoy to you?
He is that guy that wears the lion mask, and he got that kid to get his parents on the phone so he could be like, "Your children are doing things on the internet," and he went to court and he fucking played Discord recordings or something in court.
Wow. Okay. All right. I think we're
You know
okay.
what? Beavis
Yeah, sit the
ran
fuck
from this
down, Matt. Oh,
episode.
wait, that's what you can do.
Beavis dipped. He was here in the beginning, and then he was like, "I can't do this," and he just left. So
Beavers. Oh,
Yeah,
Beavers-
tag.
Yeah, he tagged you in.
Wait, can I leave and we can bring Toxic in? Like,
No,
is that
no.
Wait. Why is this? Is this like the South Park episode when like that porno VHS was going around and they all watch it and then one by one they're like, "Nah, I'm not playing anymore. I'm out."
Mitch,
Sure.
the funny part is though, Mitch, is like none of our co-hosts care about the subject, but do you know how many views the video our episode got?
Oh, thanks for telling everyone why we're doing this.
Yeah, no, I already said that in the beginning.
Okay.
15,000 views, and not I can't.
15.9.
Yeah,
I think.
I think it's up to 16K now. I can't get one co-host besides Beckett, who was already interested in this to begin with, to actually care about the subject, and I'm having a hard time caring about it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You can hear it in my voice. I have covered this so much. I want to stop. You know what? I have said this. I have said so. Full disclosure, because it's again, I'm pretty transparent. I have now talked to LioConvoy in VCs. Like, I've spoken to the dude, and he's like, "Oh well, you have to look for other things now because there's not as much going on with me." Like, I don't want to fucking talk about you, motherfucker. I'm bored. I've had enough. This is so fucking frustrating because no one can get anywhere. And this is like, we'll talk about the Akumo stream. This is going to turn into a Beckett rants fucking thing, isn't it? Like, the Akumu thing, it's impossible to get anywhere with Lio because whatever you say to him, it's either obfuscated or, well, you're wrong in saying that. It's like, you know what I mean, motherfucker. Like, a good example is like, I said this to him, I was like, it feels like you've got this new mod team now and they want to be like Senate. No, they don't. They don't want to be like Senate. That you're wrong. I'm like, well, it feels like they do because Catslayer, his new server, is still talking about accountability calls, still trying to get people to I don't know, be held accountable. People like Zach, who is not one of his mods but is on his staff, because I know I'll get shit for that if I don't point that out. Has said in his video, it's like, oh, we needed to be there when Lio left for justice about the Raven call. He's making a video on Leia something. It's like, well, clearly you want to do like the similar thing, even if it's not exactly what Senate was. You know what I mean, motherfucker. And it's frustrating because, like, right from the off, people said, would you want to talk to LioConvoy? And I said no. And I've gone back and forward on this over time. But I've always felt like it's not that valuable. Ironically, I think Stardust probably got the most out of him in her interview. Because in the Akumu one, Jar is there. That's just a robot. And
that dude sucks, by the way.
I don't like that guy. He dated one of the adopted kids. I'm still not over that.
Dude, wait, which one? I remember him from like old commentary stuff and just getting like shat on all the time. He used to do these videos where he'd modify his voice to sound like a robot.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Yeah. What I've come to find out about this whole thing, this whole community, both sides, I think both sides, like LioConvoy and Hopeless Peaches, all those people, they suck worse. But on the other side, you got Omnia, fucking Harley TBS, Akumo and Kumo to a lesser extent. They're not that bad, I guess. Maybe Kumo, I don't know. But they all kind of suck in their weird way because they're all like, I don't know, they're all just kind of weird. And it's just dealing with people that are just like, not my cup of tea, you know?
Well, if you remember, Matt, that's exactly what I said in the original episode. I said, yeah, they all suck. And you were like, well, I think Omnia is okay. I was like, no, she sucks. Have you changed your mind on that recently?
I was being a little nice to Omnia because she was being nice to me, and she was actually like sending me links to stuff, and then all of a sudden I made fun of their fucking golden child or whatever, one of the people in the who was it? The FCK leaker or whatever. They got their dad found their Discord.
Rin,
Yeah, their dad found their Discord and was like, "No more Discord for you." And then I was like, "Lol." And then Omnia took that as me being like, "Oh, they're gay. What the fuck? They're gay." Like that's what Omnia like
it's like
projected
you think
onto
it's
me.
funny that somebody gets exposed and outed to their family.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
interesting as well. You know, Lio talks about Rin in his video.
Yeah.
You know that?
leaks of it,
Yeah, that clip is taken from my stream. I didn't realize until I went to have a brief watch back yesterday that actually my voice appears in LioConvoy's video, and I'd completely missed it because I'd zoned out by the time I'd got to the.
Wait, so you reacted to that whole stream, and you're only mentioned once, and your voice is only heard, and you didn't hear it that whole time.
Yeah. I don't think I ever watched the Rim bit actually on stream because I didn't. I'll be honest as well,
okay.
and this is a sign that Matt doesn't watch my fucking streams. I didn't watch the whole of Lio's video on stream. The only person, in fact, actually, I haven't watched the whole of anyone's videos on stream because, like, again, I like to pull things apart, and it would take me like we're talking about 13 hours of content. I can't stream that much on one topic. I will do things that would get us demonetized. Like I can't. So yeah, I completely missed that. And I mean, Gilded missed the comments about his kid.
Also, you're wrong. I do watch your content. I pop in. I'm like, oh, he's still talking about LioConvoy. And then I leave. Then I pop in. Oh, he's still talking about LioConvoy. All right. And then I leave. And I pop in. And oh, he's still talking about. Oh, he's got Gilded poo on. Great. Awesome. Leave. Like yeah.
Well, I watched your streams back in their entirety, but obviously it hadn't even occurred to me to go and watch Lio's response separately because why would I do that? And I only realized that you didn't cover all of it when Matt asked me, "Oh, what did he think about this bit?" And I was like, "I don't remember." And I realized you must have not covered it.
I was like, yeah, it's like I like working with Gilded. I will say that. Like Gilded is good because Gilded likes lolcows. That's actually Gilded saying he just wants to laugh at retards on the internet. And I've met interesting people doing this. It's just that
I got a really
none of them are artsy. Really?
Yeah, I got a really bad first impression of Gilded when he popped in a Badwood server and started acting kind of weird. So I didn't know him as some ACC guy. I just knew him as a guy with a poop avatar. I thought he was just some crazy spurg. So I don't really know the guy that much. Yeah.
His actual internet history is he's old Bloodsports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he comes from like the Tonkasaur period, for at least content creation.
Someone who kind of has paralleled your little your coverage on Lio and has grown just as much as you. In fact, probably may have grown a little more. I haven't checked her out in a while. Leia Something has really like become a LioConvoy A-logger basically, to where her most of her content revolves around LioConvoy to the point where she had her own mention in LioConvoy's stream, and that's one thing I did watch. What was your opinion on the mentioning of Leia Something?
I thought it was really interesting. A lot of it is so Leia's been interacting a lot on Twitter, which has driven a lot of it. She's been pretty aggressive with people like Zach, and also Leia's content's very different from mine. It's very, very high accountability, which is sort of more in their ballpark, which means that they're going to go for her a bit more. And yeah, like I know I've done a lot, but I think Leia's done more than me. The other difference is that partly because what's the best way to put this? This will take some explaining, but one of the things I've come to understand about why Senate is the way it was is because it used to be a blood sports community. I mean, we used the term barbarian server before. That's what it was. It was a way to laugh at people and be mean. It wasn't all this woke high accountability shit for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the old mods, the ones Lio got rid of during the Kaz Warfox drama, because he became incredibly optics brained, watch me, frankly, because I'm just laughing at shit. And that's one of the reasons that Lio, I think, doesn't really know what to make of me. He doesn't want to stir. Whereas Leia is more in line with kind of the content the Zoomers are expecting of, well, this thing's really messed up. This is really bad. You need to be held to account. And so it's much easier for it's much easier for Lio to hit at.
I don't agree with you though, Beckett, in that like I wouldn't attribute too much to the blood sports past in terms of how the Senate turned out to be. Because if you noticed, so Zach and Hidden, who are kind of the new guard, they are extremely proud to be Jennies. They get insane kicks out of being mods in a server. They joined Senate, both of them, in April 2023, and both of them claim to not have been active until December. They're very new to this. And I think what fascinates me about this whole drama is the reason like why Lio is so frustrating, right? It's like we know who he is, we know stuff about him, and clearly he's not going to change, and it's pointless. But it's fascinating that there is no shortage of people that want to get involved in this drama and do essentially the same stuff, and they all suck. And I think the main reason for that is basically these kind of leftist communities that do a lot of moral grandstanding and tone policing, often end up being the meanest and cruelest communities to be in.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, the turning point seems to have been around when Peaches joined that community. That seems to be the biggest turning point.
Yeah.
Because again, the old guard aren't like they aren't. I suppose they're left wing, but they're not like tone policing leftists. They'll call each other faggot. They'll use the N-word pretty openly, and that's a big difference from kind of Catslayer and the new mods that he has, who like you can't misgender somebody, you can't say anything homophobic, you can't make a homophobic joke. But it's also interesting, like when you look at kind of like their reactions to the outside, when you look at where that community is now and like where it's going, it feels like Catslayer's been started up. It's going to be pretty much the same shit in 6 months, which we all knew it would be. We just thought it'd be Supreme Court because the same people are involved. And ultimately, like, if Matt went and started some fucking woke community,
I am. Check out the new Senate and the Now Recording Discord server. We're gonna be woke as fuck, bro.
But people would still like come who know Matt, who'd expect the same kind of content, even if they had to moderate the language, which is, you know, laughing at people and one-legged jokes.
Yeah.
No, those are actually going to be banned because it's ableism.
I heard you guys mention Hidden, which is like they're like a mod, right? They're like a big mod. I got a screenshot here from one of their Discord servers where they say, "Oh yeah, now they post a." So someone was talking about Now Recording, and then someone was like, "Wait, isn't that a show on Kick?" And they're like, "What? No, like it's not on Kick at all." And then they're talking about us, right? And then Hidden just pops in with a link to the LioConvoy episode and says, "Oh yeah, Now Recording, people with banger titles for their coverage like this." And it's the episode. It's like Hopeless Peaches' LioConvoy, an incestuous love story. Now, the thing about it is, and I think Hellbent, you kind of took this literal as well. When I incestuous in this title has a double meaning, because incestuous in commentary actually has a meaning going beyond father and daughter fucking. Incestuous by definition means of human relations generally, excessively close and resistant to outside influence. Now that the incestuous, the word, actually belongs in commentary due to there was a group chat back in the day, back in like 2019, that Tommy C and Nicholas D were accused of being very incestuous. I mean, they would back each other up a lot. They wouldn't take criticism. They would jump on a narrative just to help their buddy out. And they were very incestuous with each other. And I feel like, for the most part, LioConvoy and Hopeless Peaches, now Leo has been accused of avoiding confrontation with Hopeless. He's been accused of not going after him, Hopeless Peaches, when they were being accused of similar things that LioConvoy would usually go after people with. And those were the accusations, which, honestly, that is very incestuous because that is protecting Hopeless Peaches. So I think a lot of these people just see incestuous and they're like, "Oh, they're saying they're fucking, ha ha ha, good one, you fucking transphobes." No, it's actually got a really in-depth meaning there, guys. All right.
Did you pull up Webster's dictionary definition for that?
I sure did.
No, I knew what you
Oxford.
meant. It was more like I knew that they would hate it. And but also like who cares? But obviously, because you know, Matt, obviously that I reached out to Hidden like a month ago or something, and I tried to I extended the offer to come on and speak on our recording, and she just stopped replying to me, and now she's just using that as an excuse. Because what she says about that, like, yeah, look at this banger title. That's why I have no interest in watching this content or doing any interviews with them. I'm like, all right, sure.
They did. Go ahead, Beckett.
I want to be very clear. Hidden's a fucking snake.
Yeah.
Hidden is a fucking snake. So the whole LioConvoy plot is insane. When you look at it, like from any distance, essentially all of Lio's current mods. Well, not all, but the vast majority, because some of them are no longer mods, were convinced by Peaches and Lumi to join their server called the Burger King server. In this server, Peaches was apparently in-call 24/7, threatening to remove themselves from the census. Apparently attempted this 5 to 6 times. Explaining
good at suicide.
Failure in every respect, and was telling them all about how terrible Lio was an abuser. Then the day of the coup comes. Now, before this, they'd actually Hidden herself describes this as a bribe. They made Hidden a server as a bribe to get her to turn on Lio. And then when the day of the coup comes, Hidden's on Akumo's stream defending it, saying that the Supreme Court is a new place to be, that Hidden was going to be a content creator, and then the next day the wave turns against Peaches, and Hidden suddenly is all more remorseful, back on Lio's side, like all the other fucking mods. And like, Matt, let me ask you something. If your mod team, and like for now recording, or your co-hosts were told something about you for like a while, and you knew something was coming, and not one of them told you, not one of them warned you, would you have any of those people around afterwards?
Probably not, no.
And Lio is keeping them around because Lio is fucking dumb.
Is now a bad time, Matt? Is now a bad time.
Hey, Mitch, he was there for you, buddy, during your fucking situation.
But Lio is just desperate because he experienced this massive betrayal that you could argue he should have seen coming. But then he said in that VC, I think, on the day that his entire support network was completely cut off, and you could tell it was affecting him. Which obviously, you shouldn't really depend that much in your ripe old age of whatever it is, 39, on a Discord community. But you can empathize with him. But I think he's just desperate to have supporters back. But he's also dumb, yes.
All right, going back to the Akumo versus LioConvoy debate. Let's keep it short. We don't have to go in depth.
Sure.
How did that go for Leo?
Fine, mostly. I mean, that's part of the problem.
I've heard the opinion that Akumu softballed Lio. I haven't watched it myself, but I can also understand if Akumu had to tread carefully lest Lio just bail on him.
I think that was the worry. Yeah. But also Jar didn't help because Jar was just trying to joke about it. It was a bit of a making peace stream, I think, from Lio's perspective. I think Akumu tried to really push him on the Jax stuff on this, and Jax is the teenager who Lio basically called to school and reported him as a potential school shooter. And during that stream, Jax phones Lio because Jax is also a Spurg.
Right.
And Lio's getting sent pizzas through the stream because he's being pizza bombed. So it was a fucking mess in those respects.
Sounds like a disaster.
Well, Akumu just couldn't push very hard because he was, just trying to get Lio to answer some questions. Lio was just being evasive, and Akumu didn't want to go too hard.
Yeah.
Well, also Crystal came in and asked some questions. But again, by that point, it kind of just turns into a bit more of a group call than sort of well, Lio, we need to hold you to account call. But that's not going to happen with Lio. Lio doesn't want to answer those questions, so he'll dodge them. And he probably would have just run. And I think from Akumo's point of view as well, once the apology was out, it was kind of, in some ways, it was a little bit over because
There's nothing else to say, really.
Yeah, that's clearly what Lio's response is going to be. That's where his mindset's at. And in some regards, the FCK stuff, if Lio's not going to be involved in it, then Lio sort of has to back away from defending Doodle Tones and Nezi, who are the people that Akumu's interested in from the perspective of what happened with the FCK.
I do know some. So Nezi was one of the ones that that did the videos on Akumo with Ponder Sprocket during the Madame situation, right?
Yeah.
Ah, see, look who knows some lore. All right, I'm not fucking hopeless. All right, I know what.
You're
I'm
not just a pretty face.
Sometimes. The thing is, though, the reason why I know so much about the Madame stuff is that was, in my opinion, one of the if I had one drama that I wish Now Recording was around for, I wish it was the Madame drama, because I don't know why that drama was super interesting to me, and just the idea of like the schizo BPD girl just going crazy on the internet over fucking art drama, over fucking artists was just hilarious to me. And then you had like there is a video by Black Wolf Company, BWC, and in my opinion, it's one of the best commentary videos there is out there. And it's about Madame, and it's actually really good. And it's his best video in my opinion, and you should go check that out. But yeah, I like hearing about the old. I think it's very funny that a lot of the FCK stuff stems from Madame, because they all created the server to like shit on Madame, and it was a collection of people that wanted to shit on Madame. And you had this Akumu kid who was just a minor at the time, who just was like seeing stuff unfairly. And he thought Madame was getting the shit end of the stick, and he tried to like stick his nose in it to try and defend her, and he got shat on even more. And then he got then Ponder Sprocket and Nezi were claiming that he was a doxer because he had some court documents or something about the Slimers, the minor. So Akumo, who was a minor at that point, was accused of being doxing a minor, and is this the whole crazy thing? And it's kind of crazy because it's like Akumo's backstory. It's like that's his backstory. So that carved who he is today, and that's why he's going after LioConvoy, Ponder Sprocket, Nezi, all these people. The reason why he's going after them so hard today is from what happened when he was young. And I just think that's, like, to me, the most interesting part of this drama.
Yeah, I think there's interesting stuff there, like with Doodle talking. So someone sent me a video of Doodle talking about that server. Doodle had already been looking at that server and apparently missed all the other shit. If you knew about this, why is all this a surprise? I mean, one of the things that I got given and did a stream on, which was basically their whole spreadsheet of going through, and the FCK had like Nazi pornography in it, like pornography of people's OCs, apparently including minors, like sexual conversations with children. Like, it just went really fucking deep. And people forget that, because it gets obfuscated, that where this began was Lio's point of holding people to account for things. And, well, you haven't done that. You're sat in a fucking server with Doodle Tones. Everyone thinks that's crazy, by the way. Like, no one understands, who's known Lio for ages, why Doodle Tones is around. Like, why would you trust Doodle of all fucking people? So, the FCK stuff itself, I think, is going to keep going. I think Leia's doing more on that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But
all right, yeah, fast forwarding. So the opinion on the Akumo Leo thing is Leo kind of like got kind of away a little easy because
he weaseled out of it.
Because Akumo had to be careful because Leo would leave. So now we have this Stardust interview. Now, how the fuck did Stardust get this, Beckett?
Stardust asked like right at the start of the drama. That's how.
And so Leo was like, well, I'll see you in 2 months, and then...
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there any sort of annoyance that like you've been kind of going back and forth on whether you wanted a conversation with Leo, and Stardust is someone who doesn't really know the lore that well, definitely not as much as you, probably can't ask good enough questions to really have probably someone like me, right? If I had an interview with Leo, I would not be able to ask all the right questions.
That's why he wanted that interview and not one with Beckett. And I imagine he also thought that maybe Stardust would be easier to debate because A, she's an outsider, B, she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So do you?
I don't know if I'd say it's B with because she's a woman, but I don't want to start attributing sexism. Other people are doing that, and it's just, I don't know. It gets very cringe in my opinion.
Well,
But is there?
I'll bring something up a bit later, but yeah.
Is there annoyance that like you think it was like a weasel thing to do to go with Stardust and not you?
No.
Okay.
I've been really clear that if Lio wants to talk to me, he can, and if he doesn't, I won't call him out for it. Like I kind of work on that basis. I think from my perspective, I don't really do the gotcha stuff anyway. I'm not like I'm gonna get you into call and like break you, because it's just not my kind of content.
Mhm.
But I think it was fucking hilarious, frankly. I think of all the people who he could have talked to and how that could have gone, I think it's very funny it went that way. I think it was a very interesting interview in that you can see Star sort of like just bringing Lai to a point where he starts hanging himself.
Yeah.
Really. The stuff that... What's really interesting about that interview and what I couldn't have done, I don't think anybody who's been really covering this could have done, is because you end up like going like, oh, it's so insane it becomes normal. But when you've got somebody there who hasn't been as exposed or isn't as tired, frankly, going, hey, you seem to be doxing people. Oh, no. I use the white pages. What? I remember when that happened in the Akumo interview, and Chris the Knot messaged me and was just like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is he saying? How is no one calling this?" But because he was saying it to Stardust in a different audience branch, in some respects, it was really easy to pinpoint and go, "Yeah, this is fucking weird." In fact, the only useful thing that Jar said in the Akumo interview was they brought up Jax and the school shooting thing, and Jar was like, "Oh, I've never seen anything like this. It's almost unique."
Mhm.
And there's so much stuff with Lio that's like fucking unique.
Yeah, my favorite part, and I imagine we'll talk about it, is that Stardust brings on this lawyer lady who entirely bodies Lio, but also Stardust tells the lawyer lady that about the brilliant plan of catching a predator in the act of abusing Jordan, I believe. And the lawyer lady goes like, what? And she just has this like visceral on-stream reaction. And it was amazing.
I remember that part. Didn't Lio try to deny it? And then there was actually evidence of him like being the one who mentioned the plan and was like, well, you know what we could do? So like, didn't that happen as well?
Tries to weasel around it, but yeah, he was like, well, no, that's not what we're trying to do. It was more like because he was already there, and but no, yeah, he just tries to reframe it as best as he can.
One criticism I saw, I think, about Stardust's stream, they claim it was bad for all parties, and that the lawyer actually pivoted the argument to sexism in politics. And that pivot kind of like was, I guess their argument was that like they just switched up the argument out of nowhere or something. I don't know if you guys watched any of that part or anything that could comment on that. I saw
characterize it that way. She definitely did, because basically she comes on and he and then Lio maybe asks something like, oh look, also you're a lawyer, and she says, yeah, I'm a lawyer, but you can call me a paralegal if you want. And then sometime down the line, Lio says paralegal, and she does go off a little bit for quite some time about how it's sexist to call a paralegal. And Lio's like, you said I could, like, what the hell? And she does spend too much time on that, but I wouldn't characterize it as a whole, like, switching the topic and derailing the conversation completely.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know if has a different take, but...
Beckett, you have anything else on the Stardust versus Lio thing?
I think the biggest thing was it was in some ways very Twitch poly, but it's almost what it needed to be. One of the interesting things with watching Lio, and you can see this in the Akumu stuff, is Lio debate bros an awful lot, and Star's kind of used to that, so it doesn't throw Star in the same way that it would throw a normal person. And I think that was interesting to watch. Basically, I will also say that I know from behind the scenes, if you like, that I was getting DMs from all fucking sides during that debate, including Lio's friends who were like, what the fuck is going on? Why is he doing this? Why doesn't he just leave? Who let him do this? Who let him go on this thing? Why is he just burning his reputation to the ground? Because also, it looks really bad to not like. There was a particular point where they're talking about like federal versus state agencies and classes and courses, and it just makes Lio look like he doesn't know what the fuck he is talking about with the main thing that he's meant to be doing. And I said to Cecil McFly about this, that it's kind of like the Mama Max stream, when everyone kept coming on and just pointing out Max didn't know what the fuck he was doing. It's very like that. And from the perspective of who Lio is, that makes it a bit more devastating. And I think that does matter.
Right. All right.
The one thing I do want to bring up one more point about this call, though, and this is why I kind of hinted at sexism earlier. Because you gotta understand, I am usually the last person to cry sexism because personally I'm, an edgy asshole. So when somebody doesn't like me, I just assume it's for me and not for any other reason. But you might have seen we got a leaked screenshot from I think Lia's server after that debate where Lia says, well, referencing Stardust and the lawyer lady, they clearly have some trauma from older men and they're just taking it out on me. And like that statement just shows me really like, oh, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I got the screenshot right here. Yeah. This is Lio saying, yeah, rain was a valid thing to bring up and something excellent to add to the tool belt, but it feels like both of them have trauma with older men that they wanted to try and take out on me with the amount of projecting that image onto me that they did, which is horrible that they went through, but I'm not that person.
And it's not even the first time he's done that, because didn't he say that Leia had fatherless energy or something like that?
Yeah, fatherless energy, yeah.
Yeah, he did say that, that's true. Well, do you think it's a Stardust W in this situation?
Yeah, yes. I think so.
Okay. Normally, I would say, where does this go from here? But I think at this point, I just kind of want it to be done. Yeah. I just want. I would like Cecil McFly to make a video. Other than that, I think I'm kind of done with this whole Lio shit. I want to do stuff where my co-hosts are actually interested in the topic and not fucking like, oh, let's gonna cover this line. Holy shit, this blew up. Now we got to talk about it more, guys. And they're like, well, who's LioConvoy? What did this guy do?
Well, Mitch, what do you think about this drama?
You did that on purpose. You did that on fucking purpose. Yeah, you did. And that's why I hate you. You're right. It's not because you're a woman. It's because of what you do.
There you go. Yes, I believe you.
See, I was listening. I just don't care.
No, men don't listen.
Mitch, honest interpretation though. What do you think about all this?
Fuck off.
Mitch.
No, don't do it.
What do you think? Tell me your thoughts, Mitch.
You must have some.
Come on, Mickey Mitch.
Okay, let me start with. Okay, so then we're gonna make her a Discord server, or did we move on from that?
Yeah.
Why is that? Okay. Why is that a motivation to get someone to do something? They know they can. Do people know they can just go make their own fucking server?
That is a great question, Mitch.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question, because the last thing I am doing on this is going to be about Hidden. Okay? So I'm glad you've asked, because Hidden is somebody who has wanted to be famous on the internet forever. Hidden wants a community. She wants to be a content creator. She has like one video on her current channel. No, the word current. But she has one video on her current channel, and she's doing like a commentary video on some Spurg who is a nobody. No platform, no voice. And having a community of 300 odd people, Hidden believes that that's like her foundation point, her starting point that she's like responsible for. And Hidden's someone who's really easy to manipulate because she is a clout hungry whore.
She's a clout demon for sure. She has concentration camp guard energy.
That's not a joke. she makes Nazi jokes and Holocaust jokes and shit, and
She's
describes it
German,
as
too, doesn't help.
cultural. Yeah. And then describes how she's ethical and woke, but the Holocaust jokes are just because I'm German.
None of these
guys.
people are woke. None of these people are actually woke. They
So-
just want to pretend to be on the internet.
Wait,
Oh my God, my
so like,
favorite quote from Hidden
so
was
she's
that
kind of a Nazi then.
she
she's
was
kind of a
modded
Nazi.
in the Senate because of her strong moral principles. She said that.
Yeah.
Not
in
because
her
she's a
own way.
Nazi.
I mean, probably helped. I don't know.
Well, if she was a Nazi, then she probably know where the Nazi gold is, and if she knows where the Nazi gold is, then she wouldn't be bad with money.
Those who
Also,
are also
I'm bad with money.
Latsky Gothboy, Jada with a Y, Strictly Patrick, Darcy Evans, Ringtail, Stefan Corbino, Joe Vile, channel has been deleted. K-Huck Cast, Pigeon Salad, Echo of Tragedy, Brooke A, Fresh Brewski, Rettle Hughes, and Mame. If you want to be bad with money, pay $14.99 a month to get your name said after every podcast episode, every live stream. If you can't afford that, become a Beaver lover. Gets you access into gets you priority callers at $9.99 a month and gets you early access to now recording episodes. Can't afford that, become Stumpy. $4.99 gets you membership live streams, membership premium episodes, access to paywall text channels and VCs in the Discord server, and those are our membership tiers. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, I've got one last thing. Because
Sure.
you did it last one. Can you give me a Thundercats Go and a Raw?
Thundercats, ho, roar,
Oh!
pedophiles beware, I'm coming for you, ho. Now recording's always recording. Have a good one, guys.